Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Paleo Rumble in the Jungle. That's right. Today we have a slightly different video from the normal debate stream. We're going to be doing a tier ranking of different prehistoric beasts. I was inspired by Dr. Dino's own video about ranking the dinosaurs. So we're going to be ranking all kinds of prehistoric animals from all different eras in history according to death match rules. That's right. It's going to be a life or death battle. Who comes on top? Who's the victor? So I want to introduce my co-host for this collaboration today, Dr. Dino, who inspired this video in the first place. Doc has a great YouTube channel of his own. He also does Creationist Debunks. I highly suggest that you check it out for his content. I believe that you are studying geology. Is that right, Doc?
Paleontology, yeah.
Perfect. Even better. We have a paleontology aficionado here to help us out on the ranking here. And also, since there's just two of us, if we get into an indecision, then we're going to be relying on the audience for help. So you guys can shout out your opinions on some of these death matches as well. We will be paying attention to them. So, Doc, would you like to say anything for starters here?
Just howdy. Hope everyone enjoys this here stream. We'll try to make it entertaining, educational, and also just enjoy the hypothetical fights. Ready to get started.
Yes, exactly. So you can see here the tier ranking on the screen from S to F. So basically what we're going to be ranking these by is imagining a death match between the two different species. They've got the bloodlust. They're out for murder. Their rage meter is maxed. Who wins in a fight? So that's what we're going to be going off of. We're also going to be paying attention to just overall cool factor as maybe a deciding factor as well if it gets too tough. So let's just go ahead and kick this off. I wanted to start out with titanosaurs here. And by the way, I just want to be clear from the start that we're not going to be looking at necessarily individual species. We're going to be more looking at the genus level. And we will be ranking them basically by some of the strongest in that genus, how the strongest in that genus might perform. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be talking about titanosaurs, basically the largest land animals to ever walk the earth, right? You want to say anything about this, Doc?
I mean, frankly, like I don't know if there's anything that's ever lived that could take down a healthy adult titanosaur.
And I am in agreement with this. This is why this is going to be an easy S tier, just from the size alone. I mean, we do have, certain, like, in the fossil record, I believe that there are some examples of maybe some injured titanosaurs, maybe some bite marks on there. But, I mean, ultimately, this thing is going to be able to stomp just about anything on this list. And I mean that literally. Like, it will just rear up and stomp them and crush them instantly. I don't know what is going to be tangling with a fully grown adult titanosaur here.
Yeah. I mean, there is one hypothesis for how they could be preyed on, but it doesn't really even involve killing them. Like there's some large carcharodontosaurids that they lived alongside. Think a giant Allosaurus. And there is a hypothesis called the flesh grazing hypothesis, where basically we think the carcharodontosaurs could have just chopped off a bite of meat from
like
a living titanosaur.
Yeah, like a drive-through, drive-by. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is death match that we're talking about. It is a fight to the death, and I don't think anything's going to be able to take on a titanosaur. So this is why we wanted to start with the S tier, establish what the high bar is for this list that we will compare the others to. And in that spirit, for our next pick here, we've got the trilobite, going way back to the Cambrian period. So everybody knows and loves trilobites. They're one of my favorite paleo critters, but we will not let that bias us here. how does a trilobite go against a titanosaur? Do you think that the titanosaur even would notice that it's just killed a trilobite? Would it even feel it
I,
if it stomped it?
I think the trilobite just goes crunch.
It just goes crunch. I agree. And I think that this is sort of establishes a good precedent where if a titanosaur can kill it without the titanosaur even noticing that it did anything, I'm going to put that in F tier for here. So we've established a good range. We know what our S tier is. We know what our F tier is. I'm sorry, Trilobite. I'm sorry, Trilobite fans. I am a Trilobite fan, but I have to be realistic here. The Titanosaur is not even going to notice. So I think that's the lowest bar that we can possibly set.
Mm-hmm.
So next on this list, why don't we go for let's go for something interesting here. So how do we put let's do you have any suggestion for us here, Doc, for what we should put next on this? We've got a lot of options throughout all of time here.
Well, I mean, we've
Let's let's go with something interesting like a Dimetrodon here.
Oh boy.
So we've got this little beastie. I'm just gonna put him here so we can all look at him. So we've got this little Dimetrodon here. They're one of the, pretty early large, larger animals pretty early on there. They've got some vulnerabilities, some weaknesses here with that sail being there, obviously. So I will, in full disclosure, right? I personally rank this on the lower side, just in comparison with everything that we've we've had before. I'm gonna put this in a D tier category.
I think I'd probably have to agree. Just compared to everything else on the list, it has to be lower. For its own time, I'd probably put it at an A.
For its own time, it was one of the things that you didn't want to run into in the Permian period for sure. But even in the Permian period, there are things that are over it, and life has only gotten better from there. I think it's obviously going to be destroying the trilobite. I mean, the trilobite stands no chance. So there's an argument that it might be in C tier. I think it's a pretty high D tier. But we'll see when we rank the rest of it, kind of how that all shakes out. And there are a lot of things in D tier that I do think the Dimetrodon could beat.
Fair.
So let's go ahead. And I mentioned that I think that there's another life form in the Permian, which I think would body a Dimetrodon. So let's go ahead and pull our other Permian beastie here, the Gorgonopsids. And so
I'd probably put him at a C.
That's exactly where I have the Gorgonopsid as well. Like it's like I said, it's gonna take down a Dimetrodon, I believe. It's got the agility on it. I mean, it doesn't have a huge weakness like a sail that you could just bite and rip and cause it to lose its balance or whatever. It doesn't have that sail. But I can't justify it as putting it any higher than that just based on the other things on this list.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and we're going to continue to sort of fill out some of these rankings here. So what do I think on this list could take down a Gorgonopsid? I'm going to have to go with the Andrewsarchus here. For those of you that don't know, Andrewsarchus is one of the largest carnivorous mammals ever found, just based on the skull. So I definitely think that the Andrewsarchus has the weight, the mass, the power to pretty much just run through a Gorgonopsid.
I think it might actually currently hold the record for the most massive carnivorous mammal.
Yeah.
On land, at least.
Yes, exactly. I agree. So maybe there could be an argument for an A tier for the Andrewsarchus, but we'll have to let it all shake out. We can always alter the list later on as we go,
True.
ranking these all. I'm hearing a lot of Dodo fans in the chat. We've got Dodo is S tier all day. Dodo should be on top. The, so
Oh dear.
so should we crush a few hopes over here and should we rank the Dodo with what we've already got on?
Uh,
So
I'm,
okay,
I
Dodo.
mean, it might be able to peck a trilobite to death.
Okay, so
Maybe.
people saying Dodo versus Titanosaur. Dodo is S tier. I'm hearing in the chat. How do we feel about that, Doc?
I feel like we should just have a tier above S tier, the Dodo tier.
The Dodo tier. Well,
Every tier list has to have a meme tier.
yeah, I'm gonna say Dodo absolutely gets stomped. I'm gonna say the Titanosaur maybe, and this is just a very weak maybe, notices anything happen. I'm gonna say Andrew Sarkis swallows Dodo in one bite. I'm gonna say Gorgonopsid has a nice Dodo snack. I'm gonna say Dimetrodon rips Dodo to shreds, and I'm gonna say Dodo probably takes the trilobite. I'm gonna say that. Would you agree
I,
so far?
I still feel like there should be a Dodo tier, but yeah, I think the only thing it can beat is a trilobite.
I'm gonna be the dream killer on this stream. I'm not making a Dodo tier. The Dodo is F tier for me. And when I made this list, I had Trilobite over the Dodo, but that was just based on coolness factor for me. I think Trilobites are still one of my favorite prehistoric animals, so I had it over. But I'm willing to concede to the chat. If we've got a lot of Dodo fans in chat, I'm willing to put the Dodo above the Trilobite. Are you okay with that, Doc?
Yeah. Oh, Azho brings up in Ark you can put a bomb on a Dodo and drop them in enemy camps.
Well, that's giving the Dodo a boost, a little help. Okay, we're in our death match here. There's no help. It's just oh man, we're getting hate in chat from all the Dodo lovers. the Dodo love is strong in chat. I'm sorry to crush your dreams, but it is F tier, but above the Trilobite. Okay, as much as I don't like that, I'm willing to concede that the Dodo could take on a Trilobite. I will concede this. So
all right. Well, then
right.
what next? What can kill a Dodo but not a Gorgonopsid? Or not a Dimetrodon?
Let's get this interesting here. Okay, let's go for the other arthropod on this list, the Arthropleura from the Carboniferous era, a massive millipede like thing. So what do you think? I'm thinking that the Arthropleura could take on a Dodo, but maybe I'm underestimating the Dodo.
I mean, if it's anything like modern centipedes, it probably adds some massive shears up front. But I'm not sure if they could do much to a Dimetrodon.
I don't
but
think.
Then again, I'm also not sure that Dimetrodon could do much to it. They might be at a stalemate.
So I believe that the Arthropleura is believed to be a vegetarian. So I'm not saying that it has strong offensive capabilities. I think its sheer size, I mean, the Dodo could probably peck at it, maybe could do some damage there. But
I don't know. I feel for its size, it's an S tier in armor.
Yeah, I think
its size,
it's probably pretty strong. I think the Dimetrodon could probably do some real damage to it. Could probably rip and tear at it with its teeth. And I think I personally would have the Arthropleura in D tier. I think it could probably throw around its weight and size alone to either crush the Dodo, break something on the Dodo. I think it could probably throw its weight around against a Dodo. So I've got it in D tier, but below Dimetrodon. You think that that's probably an accurate placing here?
Yeah, probably.
We are still getting a lot of hate for putting Dodo.
You're getting hate for the Dodo.
That's true. I'm getting hate for the Dodo.
You're the bad guy here.
That's true. I'll have to be the bad guy. But there's got to be a bad guy, and I'm not putting Dodo anything over F tier for now. So,
I mean,
all
hey, we could always invite the other Dr. Dino, see how that goes.
right. Yeah, okay. He would put them all in imaginary tier. Let's see.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's do a mammoth next. All right. Where do we figure a mammoth goes on this list?
I mean,
Like
A
let's
for
let's look
sure.
at let's look at Mammoth versus Andrew Sarkis over here. I mean, I'm thinking that the Mammoth is gonna win.
Yeah, I'd say either low A or high B.
I'm gonna put it in A tier because I think with its mass, its body size,
Mm,
the tusks and the trunk, I think it could fling around and impale an Andrew Sarkis, and I don't think that there's much that the
yeah,
Andrew Sarkis could do to the mammoth. I mean,
yeah.
just with the sheer size and like the thickness
Now,
of the skin.
now I will say I do feel like it should be bottom of A tier though, because
Okay,
any dinosaur of comparative size is just
yes,
gonna shred it.
that
Pound for pound, dinosaurs are scary compared to mammals.
that's true. I mean, faster metabolism, faster reflexes, more stamina.
Hmm.
I mean, the dinosaurs are probably going to be definitively higher than mammals in a pound for pound scenario. But
Hmm.
okay, so which dinosaur do you think on this list here we could rank next as being a contender for mammoths that you think would probably be able to take it out here?
Um.
Are you thinking Triceratops versus mammoth? You got Triceratops in there?
Oh, Triceratops win easy.
Okay, well, hey, the mammoth is a lot bigger here. I don't think
Uh,
that it would be
not
quite that easy.
really.
Not
Uh,
really.
no, largest Triceratops we have are comparable to the size of a mammoth. Plus, with that huge head shield, there's like the mammoth's not going to be able to gore it, but the Triceratops is going to be able to go right between those tusks and smash.
I think you're making a good case here, but really, I when I think of Triceratops and mammoths, I'm thinking Triceratops is significantly smaller in mass. If I'm wrong on that, then yeah, you're right. I mean, this would be handed
Well, are we talking woolly mammoth or Columbian mammoth?
So since we're talking about the overall genus and we're going to be ranking these according to like the top of that genus, like the top performers, then I'm
Hmm.
thinking that we're talking about the biggest, burliest mammoth that there is. Let's see what the
Okay,
chat says.
so
Andrew
Columbian.
is saying that the mammoth might be taller, but not necessarily bigger. Um,
Yeah, I do think you're underestimating the size of a Triceratops.
Hey, I'm totally okay with putting the Triceratops over the mammoth. And how do we feel about Triceratops versus Titanosaur? Right, I'm still saying Titanosaur bodies it.
Oh yeah, absolutely in that matchup. But here, if I can
Yeah, share your screen.
share screen. So here's a Triceratops.
Okay, yeah.
This bigger one is based on the largest specimens we have, which I think are fragmentary. But scaling up the more complete ones to that, absolutely massive. And here is the biggest mammoth. In terms of mass, I'm pretty sure they're comparable. Actually, this might be a bit oversized for a Columbian mammoth.
Well, I would think that mammals aren't mammals heavier per like their size than most dinosaurs were because I mean the bone structure and
Little bit,
so
but
I
at the same time, but on the same token, dinosaurs are stronger per mass.
yeah, I mean, I do think that if the mammoth, I, I think that the mammoth could probably knock over a triceratops.
Oh,
Um,
here's a more realistic
okay.
reconstruction.
Hmm. It's
Yeah,
close.
I think that earlier one was from Primeval.
I would give it to the triceratops, but I think that it would be closer than maybe a lot of are giving credit for. I think that the mammoth could knock a triceratops off its feet.
I don't know. Triceratops are built like. Have you ever seen them from the front?
That's true. I mean, very low center of mass. You got to get through those horns and that face shield.
I mean, like, people like to call them rhinos, but no, they were built like a freaking wrestler.
Okay. Well, I am okay with putting Triceratops over the mammoth. So,
Alrighty.
all right, let's go for another mammal here. How about a ground sloth? Where do we put a ground
Ooh.
sloth here? Again, we have a large size. Um,
Mhm.
I'm thinking like let's look at this matchup here in C tier. A ground sloth versus a gorgonopsid. I'm kind of
Easily ground sloth.
I'm thinking ground sloth for that. So I'm thinking, what about ground sloth versus Andrew Sarkis? This is a pretty interesting matchup. I think this is close.
I'd still say ground sloth.
Yep.
Because
I
having
also
seen some of the bigger ones, like they got massive.
I also have ground sloth over Andrew Sarkis, but I think that they're pretty close. I think that maybe in 60% of the matchups, maybe 70% it goes ground sloth, but I think that Andrew Sarkis could perform pretty well too. But I'll put it. I put ground sloth over it.
Yeah.
And here we have sloth is S plus. We have Andrew agreeing with us that's B tier, nothing less. He's talking about the size of their claws. Those claws are going to be doing some real damage for sure.
I mean, one of the most common giant ground sloth genuses is Megalonyx. Literally giant claw.
Yeah, you have any pictures of that? Well,
Not only that, I've actually worked on its bones.
wow.
Although
There
I
you
think
go.
Megalonyx is one of the smaller ground sloths, but it was named by Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I do think that the ground sloth is going to be doing some serious damage to something like Andrew Sarkis. But how do we feel about like a Triceratops or a mammoth versus a ground sloth?
Oh, no chance.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
belongs here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here's the giant ground sloth I worked on. This is Megalonyx jeffersoni.
Yeah, I would
It's
not want to fight
like I
that.
said, it's one of the smaller ones.
I would
It's
not want
still the
to
size of a grizzly bear.
fight. Yeah, I have high fived a grizzly bear once before, and just feeling the sheer
Why?
because I could, and just feeling the sheer power as it was not. It was just casually like doing the high five, and I still had to like brace my hand and like pull back. I mean, the sheer power there and the claws. I'm definitely putting the ground sloth in high B tier for the moment.
Yeah, you are braver than I am. Just no.
Here's an
I
actual
would I
question,
would
and I don't know the answer here. Were ground sloths actually slow like modern sloths were?
they wouldn't be as slow. I don't know what the data on their metabolism is. I would say they would be faster than a normal sloth or modern sloths. Modern sloths are very specialized.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me. Um, so let's see what do we have next here? Why don't we do? Here we go. Let's do another aquatic over here. Let's look at Anomalocaris, the very first apex predator.
I, I'm mm, I'm sad to say this. It's either got to be bottom D or upper F. Like it could take on a trilobite, but
I think
not really anything else.
I'm putting it in upper D tier as well because we know that it did regularly prey on trilobites. So I'm not going to put it in the same tier. I'll put it one above. And also, I just want to stipulate because we're doing both aquatic and terrestrial animals that we're not going to be comparing terrestrial animals to aquatic animals. We're just terrestrial against terrestrial and aquatic versus aquatic. So
Mhm.
in the comparison with Anomalocaris and trilobites, I think Anomalocaris has to be a tier above the trilobite here. But I will put it in the bottom of D tier because I mean, it's from the Cambrian period.
Apex predator of its time,
Yeah.
but
S tier
still
of the
small.
Cambrian. It's S tier in the Cambrian, but when we're talking about all time, bottom of D tier. I'm sorry, Anomalocaris. You are also really, really cool. One of my favorites, but I'm sorry, I just can't put it any higher.
And that makes me want to do one of these for like every period of Earth's history. That might be interesting, actually.
Yeah, it would.
Just turn this into a series.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't have enough aquatic animals to do one aquatic for every tier. So this next
Mhm.
one, I think I'm here. Where is it here?
How big do you want to go? Because what I'm seeing is we have one S tier for sure.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Let's look at this next one here. Dunkleosteus. So definitely it's taken on Anomalocaris. Like
I mm,
but the thing is that I think it was just recently this year that its size got downgraded and it was not as big as previously thought. Correct?
yeah, Dunk got shrunk.
Dunk got shrunk, and for that reason, I'm putting it in C tier. But I'm gonna put it at the top of C tier still.
Yeah,
Those,
yeah,
those
I can go with that.
the armored plating,
Well,
the you know, I mean the mouth. I mean it's a threatening animal. I would not want to scuba dive with a Dunkleosteus.
actually, I will say one thing. Even though it did get shrunken, I'm pretty sure the bite force estimates still hold true. I feel like that might put it up to B because like that thing could bite through a crushed car. Like it had a guillotine for a mouth.
Yeah. Wow. This I do feel a little mixed though. I mean, on the one hand, Dunk did get shrunk. I'm not putting it. I mean, before at its maximum size, I still would have had it in B tier. So knowing that it's smaller, I'm still leaning towards C. But if you really feel like it should be in B, I mean, I don't think that we're going to have an aquatic animal in B. So I mean, that's just my feeling. Maybe you want to put one of these in B tier, but
I mean, so yeah, I'm looking it up. It had the same bite force as T-Rex.
oh man. Oh man. You're making a good argument for B
But
tier. You're making a very good
but
argument.
on like I said, jaws like a freaking guillotine. Like let me see if I can find a good picture because it's actually scary.
Yeah, definitely do. I don't know. This is people in the chat. What do you think for Dunk? Do you think B tier or C tier? I want to get your thoughts on this because I'm torn myself. I think it's definitely below some of the other aquatic contenders that we have. But if we've got
Here you go.
Anomalocaris, if we have Anomalocaris in D tier, maybe Dunk should be 2 tiers above it. I don't know. I mean,
But
look at
look
that.
at those freaking jaws.
That is not what you want to be swimming with.
No.
There is an argument here that Dunk is middle of the road as they're believed to be slow. Do you know much of that?
True. Slow but armored.
Slow but armored. Yeah, that's true. But only armored in the front. I mean, he's still vulnerable in the posterior.
True.
So I don't know. I don't know. Where are you thinking, Doc? Where do you think? C or B?
I'm going for B. That's where I'm going for.
Okay. Well, we can compromise. I have it at the very top of C tier, so we can move it to the bottom of B tier. All right. Does that sound good?
I'm cool with that.
Okay. And actually here, let's let's go ahead and let's put Therizinosaurus in here.
Top of A.
Top of A. You've got it
Well,
over
okay.
Triceratops?
Okay, sorry. Bit biased because of the game you have the model from. Okay, below Triceratops, but still A.
You've got a so you think it's taking on a mammoth because I've got this thing at the top of B tier. That's so I've got it because I think definitely it's like the dinosaur version of a ground sloth. I mean, it's got those giant claws. It's a vegetarian. It's got a very small mouth. I mean, it's not going to be doing much damage with its jaws. I mean, most of the damage is going to be coming from those claws. But
It doesn't need those jaws.
but okay, but hold on. With the claws, I believe that the biomechanics are such that I mean, it's the claws are going to be breaking pretty easily from any big slashes. Okay, here Doc's got an illustration of the
So,
claws here. Those are pretty
but
serious.
so I've looked at the biomechanics myself. Yeah, not slashes, stabs. The claws are 3 feet long on their own,
Yeah.
on 10-foot long, very powerfully muscled arms.
So
Like it's just armed with spears.
you think this thing is taking on a mammoth?
Potentially.
I don't know. I mean, it's a big animal. It is a big animal, but against a
Yeah.
mammoth, I mean, I had this thing at the top of B tier. Um, well, oh, that's not necessarily true. I had one other animal on above this in B tier, so I can put it at the bottom of A right now. Um,
Mm.
but I don't think it's gonna beat a mammoth just from. I don't know. I guess so. You're thinking that this thing could stab a mammoth with its claws before it gets its bones broken by a mammoth. Because I'm thinking it could try to stab a mammoth. The claws could do some damage, but I think the mammoth is going to very quickly be breaking those claws along with several bones on this thing
Okay.
just from
Like
throwing its weight around.
it's tough. I feel like either could kill the other in the right circumstances. Like I feel
Okay,
like it could go either way.
we'll put it in low A for now then. And I want to let's see, because maybe I had this ranked too low, but when I did my ranking of Stegosaurus, I put it at the top of B tier and over Therizinosaurs.
That I probably wouldn't agree with.
All right, all right. Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
All right, so the big thing with Stegosaurus is it's got all its armament on the tip of the tail. Granted, it was a pretty mobile tail, but that still really limits its reach. It wasn't a fast animal, it wasn't an agile animal. Like everything but the tail, the Therizinosaur could easily stab. It could stab the base of the tail and just immobilize it too.
Mm.
Like it has a reach advantage. It has, like, let me put it to you this way: the Stegosaurus has one big spiky thing. The Ceratosaurus has two.
You know, when you put it that way, I think that you have convinced me. I think you have convinced me. Do you agree? I will. I should clarify. I'm convinced Therizinosaurus is over Stegosaurus. What do you think
Mhm.
about Stegosaurus being in B tier, and specifically where it is in B tier at the moment, being above a ground sloth and an Andrewsarchus?
I'd say top of B is okay.
Okay, all right. Um,
Oh, and Asho seems to want us to do Ankylosaurus.
all right.
I'm gonna say S, and I'm not gonna back down from S.
Wow, S tier for Ankylosaurus. All right. Wow. I was gonna put it in A tier. I was gonna put it in A tier. Walk me through why you think an Ankylosaurus should be an entire rank above a Triceratops. Walk me through that.
Uh, just a second.
Okay. Because I'm perfectly I think a Triceratops versus an Ankylosaurus. I mean, both have great defenses. I think a Triceratops, you know, I mean, it's true that
So,
tail that on an Ankylosaurus is going to be pretty devastating to most things on this.
so here's a picture for you.
Yeah.
This is now I might get the name wrong. This is Zool Crurivestator. This is Zool Destroyer of Shins. That is its actual name.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
what you're
Bezos
looking
said
at,
it, sledgehammer for a tail. I mean, that's pretty devastating.
what you're looking at is one of the most dangerous and well armored animals to ever exist. A large ankylosaur would fear nothing because nothing else in its environment could kill it. A T Rex couldn't flip it over. A Triceratops couldn't get through those spikes. Another ankylosaur might just give it a bruised rib, which we actually have preserved in the bones. They couldn't kill each other.
So you don't think a Triceratops could flip this sucker over?
No.
Okay. Because that's what I was
This thing
thinking.
is
It's
this
only
thing is 10 feet wide.
I was thinking a Triceratops' only hope would be to try to gore it from like the bottom, because I mean they have massive neck mobility, right? I mean with those horns, if they could somehow get underneath of it with those horns, they could do some damage. But if you're not
Like,
thinking that that's going to do it any good,
let me put it to you this way: your average ankylosaurid is about 3 to 4 feet tall and 8 feet wide.
yeah, that's a pretty intimidating center of mass there. Okay, okay, I
Like
will
it,
put it, I'll put it
if
in
it
S.
laid on the ground and tucked its legs under its body, you could not do anything to it. Its eyelids are armored.
Okay, I'll put it in S tier, but I'm putting it below a Titanosaurus.
That is fair.
Okay. All right, we have our second S tier, everybody. I was not expecting this, but I have been convinced. Um, what should we do next? Why don't we do? We only have one crocodilomorph on this list. Why don't we do
Mm.
our Dinosuchus over here? I think it's got to go.
Okay,
What's that?
if we're going by the largest Deinosuchus species, I'd say top of A.
I'm agreeing that it's an A tier. I think it definitely beats the mammoth, and I think it probably, because I mean, I think I would put it over Triceratops as well, just because the way that
Mhm.
it hunted, it might catch Triceratops off guard, or I mean, it's just gonna be hard for the. I would probably put it over Triceratops. I think top of A for the largest crocodilomorph ever.
I
Let's.
mean, here's something scary to show.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's pretty
Uh,
intimidating.
yeah, bite force estimates more than a Tyrannosaurus.
Wow. Okay. So that with this, I think that there might be an argument about S tier here, but again, versus an
Maybe
ankylosaurus or a
less.
titanosaur, I
I,
just
I, mhm. I think would lose to both of them, or at least not be able to hurt them. It might be able to drown an ankylosaur, but I don't know if it'd be able to pull it into the water.
yeah, and when just looking at the list, I mean, I definitely have it a tier above things like Andrewsarchus or Stegosaurus, but I think it fits well at the top of A tier. I don't think it goes all the way
Hmm.
to S tier. Um, for now, I don't think it's yeah. I think it's well placed as it is. Let me know in the chat if you think that like Dinosuchus should be S tier. Should we move on to the next?
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's have a fun one here. Let's look at a saber tooth. Okay, we can start with C tier. How does it stack up with a Gorgonopsid? I'm thinking it's just a better version of a Gorgonopsid in every way, right?
All right, what is it? Sabretooth?
Saber tooth, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Well, actually, what is
for me.
maybe not the largest Gorgonopsid.
I think we have to have saber tooths in a tier above Gorgonopsids, but maybe I mean I'll listen to the argument. I mean we are ranking it according to the best of its genus, but I think it's probably a tier above, to be honest.
Here,
I
let
think I think
me.
I think it's probably under an Andrewsarchus. I think an Andrewsarchus could probably take on a saber tooth.
Oh, I agree. So here are the Smilodon species. Smilodon populator being the
Yeah,
largest one,
yeah,
and here is the largest Gorgonopsid. This is Enos transavia.
yeah. But it just in terms of agility,
Hmm.
mobility, vulnerabilities, I think that the personally, let me know if you think differently on this, but I think that the saber tooth is just going to be able to get at those vulnerable spots faster. It's going to be more flexible and agile. I
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it's
and actually, there is one thing that definitely shifts things in a Smilodon's favor.
Wow,
We
we
have
got a lot of people saying C tier for saber-tooths.
Okay, but here's the thing: we have decent reason to think that they were pack hunters,
Mm. Yeah,
or at least lived in packs.
we haven't gone over this yet, but I do think that extra points should be allotted for pack hunters. Even though we're talking about
Mhm.
kind of death match here, I think that you do get some bonus points for being a pack hunter. So
Yeah, because we have lots of Smilodon that have injuries that have been healed that would have been really hard for them to survive if they were solo.
yeah.
Like we have displaced hips, broken spines, but healed injuries. So like they survived long enough for the bones to at least fix themselves,
Mm,
which is just not usually going to happen if you're on your own.
mm, yeah. Um, what do you think about the people calling for C tier for Sabretooth, but C tier above Gorgonopsids? Because I mean, if we have Andrew Sarkis in B tier and Gorgonopsids in C tier, it's close between those two for where to place Sabretooths.
If solo, I would say top of B. But if we want to incorporate the pack, or sorry, if solo, top of C. But if we're incorporating the pack hunting, then I would say bottom B. But that's my 2 cents.
Since we do have, I don't know. I mean, this is really close for me, guys. I originally put it bottom B, um, but I also had Dunkleosteus in C tier as well. Um, man, I guess I can concede to some people in chat and let chat be a little bit of a tiebreaker here and put it in the top of C tier because also, I mean, do we know that Gorgonopsids were not pack hunters?
We don't have enough data, but it
Yeah.
seems like it'd be unlikely.
Hmm.
Pack hunting is exceptionally rare in non-mammalians. And while Gorgonopsids were close,
Yeah.
they weren't exactly mammalian yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just tentatively for now putting it in the top of C tier just because we have more in B tier than in C tier right now. So just to populate the tiers,
Fair.
I'm leaving it open to be able to go back to it. Let's
Mhm.
mix things up for now, and let's pick a flying creature here. We've only got two in the list, so I'll let you decide. You want to look at Pteranodon or like a different pterodactyls or Microraptor?
Okay, let's go with the big flyer.
All right, the big flyer up here. All right, which what is the strongest animal on this list that we think a pterodactyl could take out? And we're talking about the strongest kind of pterodactyls here. So I'm thinking I'm thinking it could definitely take out a Dimetrodon, right? That big sail is a vulnerability that could be exploited by a very flying maneuverable pterodactyl. So I'm thinking we have to put it over D tier. But it in terms of taking down stuff like a Stegosaurus or a ground sloth, I don't see it in the cards. So I'm putting it somewhere in C tier. What do you think?
Just a second.
All right.
I have an image here.
What is Andrew Cumming have against Pteranodon? Well, he's saying this like it's a bad thing. I what is the hate against Pteranodon? Here we go.
It has some big brothers.
Yeah.
This is okay. This is sort of to scale, except the head's not big enough.
Yeah, I mean I agree.
So
They're
we
large.
have a giraffe, we have Quetzalcoatlus,
Yep.
and then we have Hategopteryx, which is more heavily built.
Yep.
Um, Frankly, I think these things could murder anything smaller than them.
Really? So you think that the size is going to be that big of a factor here?
Listen, these things are massive, and they could probably run down that giraffe.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely put it over a giraffe, but in terms of the things that could fight back a little bit more, I mean, look at like Andrew Sarkis, right? You've got the largest pterodactyls over something like Andrewsarchus?
Have you seen what a crane can do to a small alligator?
I have not. I can't say that I have seen that.
Uh, let's say spears are very strong weapons.
So basically, you're saying that it'll swoop down, spear through it before you can even fight back, and it's just going to like the things like saber tooths or gorgonopsids or Andrewsarchus are not even going to have the opportunity to try to get a hit in.
Probably not.
I
Like
could be convinced
those
by that.
those beaks are massive. Not only that, they can fly. Keep in mind, they can fly.
Yeah, Andrew's saying don't underestimate the power of flight.
Uh-huh.
I'm coming around to this argument. Okay. So where do you put it? What is it not going to be able to take down here? Like right now I put it just below ground sloth and
Okay.
stegosaurus.
So for killing, I would put it below Andrewsarchus, but I think it would be able to scare off an Andrewsarchus.
I just want to say, hey Bree, hello everyone that's joined the chat. We are reading your opinions and taking them into account as well. So if you got opinions on where to rank some of these that we're discussing, please put them in the chat. We will take them into account. So
Bree, where would you put the murder stork?
Yeah, so this is a death match, right? This is a fight to the death. You can't just run off, and both of them are motivated to kill each other. Rage meters are maxed.
Okay, but I would say below Andrewsarchus unless it had the element of surprise.
Okay. I'm okay with this. This is higher than I expected, but I'm okay with it. Should we do the little flyer next? Microraptor.
Yeah, it might be top of F.
Wow, really? Okay, so we got Microraptor versus the dodo. Microraptor had claws and yeah.
Look, these things are freaking tiny.
Yeah, they're
Unless you
so
want to
cute.
count them as a representative for dromaeosaurids as a whole, like no shot at anything.
I rank them as a D tier, but you're probably right that
Like if you pull up what I'm sharing right now, Microraptor is the tiny blob all the way on the left.
yeah. Yeah.
Like Velociraptor is more threatening than it. I'm honestly not sure it could take out a dodo.
Yeah. I mean, the epic battle of the ages, Microraptor versus Dodo. Okay. Well, I'm piling on the Dodo hate, guys. I'm unapologetic about me. Unsubscribe if you want, but I'm putting Microraptor over Dodo.
Azo agrees. Dodo could kick a Microraptor's ass.
We've got a lot of Dodo love in the chat, guys. I'm putting. Do you also put Dodo over Microraptor?
Honestly, yeah.
Oh my god.
The Dodo's like 10 times its size.
Okay, fine. I will listen to reason. I've been outnumbered here. I had Dodo bottom of F tier. I put trilobites over Dodo, but okay, I'm a man of the people.
Like according to Google, a dodo could weigh about 40 pounds. I think Microraptor's estimate is like 2 or 3.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll listen to reason on this.
You're talking about a coyote going after an elephant.
As much as I want to put Dodo at the bottom of F tier, I will listen to some reason, okay? Let's do the Dodo's big cousin, all right? Let's do terror birds, the other bird on this list.
Oh dear.
Where do we have terror birds? Let's talk
between a Gorgonopsid and Smilodon.
Yeah, I was gonna just say let's talk about terror birds versus saber-tooths and gorgonopsids here for a second. Um,
Honestly, I think the pack hunting is the only thing that would put a Smilodon above a terror bird.
Yeah, I think that the terror bird's going to be over a gorgonopsid just because I mean the amount of force that that thing can drive down with its beak. I mean that's pretty devastating. I mean
Just,
the gorgonopsid could nip at its heels, but I'm thinking it's getting a rude awakening as soon as the terror bird strikes.
yeah, there's a reason another name for them is an axe beak.
Yeah, exactly. Terror birds are pretty cool, pretty intimidating. And I do say, I think that the saber tooth, I will say the pack, you're right. That's the differentiating factor, the fact that it's a group hunter. I'll put the saber tooth over the terror bird for that reason. So I think we've been pretty in close agreement for most of this list. Do you want
Except for some of the dinosaurs, yeah.
to do you want to talk about your the third pick that you wanted to add to this list here?
Which one was that?
The you suggested it. I forget its name. It was an animal. I was not aware of the name. It's like drama something.
Dromaeosaurus?
No, not dromaeosaurs.
Let me check my email.
Okay.
I forget.
Oh my gosh. You suggested three things. You suggested the Microraptor,
Compsognathids.
Compsognathids,
Because
yes.
I don't think I realized or registered yet that this was a fight to the death.
Okay.
I think
all right.
it could kill a dodo.
Any pictures for the people in chat that might be ignorant of Compsognathus like myself? Oh, and Bree's got a fun fact here. Gorgonopsids also laid eggs. That kind of it makes sense, but is also
Do we know if they laid eggs or not?
It's really weird to think about something that looks kind of like a saber-tooth laying an egg.
Oh man, there was a really good picture I used recently.
It looks like Andrew has switched to Team Trilobites. Welcome all. Any Team Trilobites are welcome here. Yeah, Azo is right. We agreed on most except for the dodos. Seems like everyone disagrees with me about dodos.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
Yeah. Well,
okay, let's see if computer will let me share this. Yes, okay.
Oh, very cute.
This is Sinusoropteryx. These are its actual colors.
Wow, really?
Yep, it was this color. It was this fluffy.
Wow, fluffy little guy with a ringtail. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what we're currently ranking?
Yeah, I think it could kill a dodo just based on the dodo's sheer stupidity.
I'm putting it over dodo. You don't have to tell me that twice. Where do we put it against Arthropleura?
I think the Arthropleura could take it. It couldn't hurt the Arthropleura.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is a nice little home for it. Because it's so cute, I could probably put it over Anomalocaris, but I think Anomalocaris for me wins with cool factor. But
yeah.
Okay, I think this is a good place for it.
Like I said, I didn't realize this was a death match yet, so I suggested something really cute.
Cuteness gets killed. Okay, let's go with we've got Hadrosaurs here. What are we thinking for Hadrosaurs? I mean, we put Stegosaurus at the top of B tier. So let's talk about Hadrosaurs versus Stegosaurus. And again, just for the ground rules for those who are just tuning in, we are talking about ranking them where the strongest member of that genus would fit. So
this is Shantungosaurus from China. This thing outweighs a T-Rex by at least 4 tons.
Wow.
I think it can body it might be able to stomp an Ankylosaur to death, actually.
Whoa.
Just by sheer mass.
You're trying to put this in S tier? You're trying
Yeah,
to put Hadrosaurs in S tier because of
we're
wow.
going by the largest member.
Yeah. Wow,
Like
guys. I
this
don't
is
know
the
about this.
largest non-sauropod to ever exist on land.
The largest
I
non
think the current mass estimates might be as high as 16 or 17 tons.
Look, okay, I can put it over a Triceratops. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with over mammoths and Triceratops in light of this fact that it's the largest non-sauropod. But I'm not putting it over a Deinosuchus. I don't think I'm putting it over
Okay,
Ankylosaurus or Titanosaurus.
so here's a good picture. Uh, this is Shantungosaurus
Yeah.
next to the hadrosaur that T Rex had to fight.
Yeah, it doesn't change my mind on this. I mean, it's bigger. I grant that it's bigger, but I think a Deinosuchus could still rip a big old chunk out of its neck.
I and then it stomps it to death. Like it's I don't think a Deinosuchus could do much. I
We've got
really don't.
we've got Andrew agreeing with Grayson on this one. Um,
I I vote for a poll. I vote for a poll.
well, since I don't know how to do polls, just everybody put
I
in the chat. Just state your opinion in the chat of where you've got this giant, huge hadrosaur. Where you're putting it? Are you putting it in A tier or are you putting it in S tier? Let us know because we've got one of our first disagreements. Oh, we've got people saying it's a difficult decision.
Google says from the bottom of the chat window, tap create a poll.
You've got to be on YouTube for that, right? Because
I
I'm
think so.
just on StreamYard. Let me. Let's see. From the bottom of the chat window, create a poll. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Giant hadrosaur.
ARS.
Yep. S A. Okay, guys. I'm making a poll right now. So put in the poll what you guys think is this giant hadrosaur, is it an S tier or is it an A tier in a death match, a one-on-one death match to the death? Okay. How is it squaring up against the largest crocodile to ever live? How's it squaring against titanosaurs and ankylosaurs? Andrew's making a good point here. Do not underestimate the power of a 40-foot crocodile. That's one powerful death roll.
Don't underestimate the power of a 60-foot titan.
Bree is saying this is an S tier organism, but you said death match, so I go with A. Azo says he might be Team Doc on this one. Matthias says, let's see. Andrew says he agrees below Dino. We're seeing some hashtag Team Croc. He switched from Team Doc to Team Croc.
Oh, come on, folks. Come on, let's bring it in the poll.
So far, 100% of people are saying A. You don't got one. You don't got one S tier supporter with you. I'm putting it in A. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm putting it below Deinosuchus. Okay, Team Croc. The audience has spoken. We are Team Croc.
The chance shall rise again.
All right. Let's get interesting here. Let's put a Spinosaurus on here.
Oh dear.
Our first theropod. No, wait, we have Therizinosaurus, but our first carnivorous theropod.
Well, here's the question. Do we rank it as an aquatic or a land-based creature?
Since we put Deinosuchus in terrestrial, I think that we can talk like about a shallow kind of, riparian sort of environment, or where it can have as much access to the water as the crocodile does, basically.
Okay.
So, but we'll rank it against the terrestrial. We're not going to be ranking it against Megalodon or whatever.
maybe just above Andrewsarchus.
Wow, that is low. Like
Like,
you're putting it below a Stegosaurus and below a ground sloth, and way below a Therizinosaurus. I think it's got to be
so
wherever.
don't don't get don't
I
get me wrong. Spinosaurus is cool. Spinosaurus is big. Spinosaurus is also fragile. Like if we're going by high school stereotypes, if T-Rex is like a wrestler or a I don't know a meathead, Spinosaurus is the tall, skinny, nerdy kid.
Wow. Okay. Full disclosure here. Spinosaurus used to be my favorite dinosaur before we kind of learned more about it and found that its body shape was not looking like just a T-Rex with, longer arms and a big spine. Like,
I
uh,
think it became cooler.
I definitely downgraded its cool factor after that. When you got those
Okay,
stubby little
you're
back legs,
objectively wrong.
those stubby little back legs, just embarrassing, man. Just embarrassing.
Nah. All hail the giant tadpole.
Man, all right. Well, maybe this all comes down to where we would rank a T-Rex because I had Spinosaurus in A tier. I mean, come on. Look, Spinosaurus versus Therizinosaurus. You had Therizinosaurus in A tier, a vegetarian theropod. How are you going to put Spinosaurus?
Therizinosaurus has pikes for hands.
Okay, here you.
Spinos.
Okay,
Okay, here's Spinosaurus.
yeah.
Okay,
Look at
so
those embarrassing back legs. Look at this awkward little animal.
Look, it was like 7 feet tall at the hips. The arms, well, they were powerful and they had big claws, had very little reach because of its size. The mouth was only really good for grabbing, and that's grabbing fish smaller than it. Like they would break if anything bigger than a large cow tried to get free.
Wow.
Like I mid B.
Wow.
Really.
Mid, not even top B. Mid.
I look, if this was just based on how much I love it, it would be top of S. But in a death match,
Yeah.
no. I just can't.
Wow.
It's not a fighter.
Okay, well, Bree is agreeing with you. Andrewsarchus would body Spinosaurus in a terrestrial environment. Andrew's saying it's awkward looking, but well adapted. He's got it in B tier as well. Wow, guys, I'm surprised. I thought this was for sure an A, but wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, are we putting it below or above Andrewsarchus?
I would put it above Andrewsarchus. Because
we are giving it, it's not a totally terrestrial. We're giving it like a riparian environment, I guess. But yeah, Andrew's saying it's a fisher, not a fighter.
Exactly. But it does still have really big arms with big claws.
Yeah.
I think it could maybe wrestle down an Andrewsarchus.
Maybe drown it.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think it could keep its head up above where it wouldn't be in danger and just go with the claws.
But you think it's not taking a ground sloth or a stegosaurus?
Ground sloth has better reach and it would be able to smack that head.
Wow. All right, guys. Wow, this is an upset for me. For one of my formerly favorite dinosaurs going B tier. All right.
Oh, like I said, don't get me wrong. It's still one of my favorite dinosaurs. It's just not a fighter.
I mean, yeah, trilobites are one of my favorites, and we've got them bottom of the bottom tier. So it's not all about favorites, I guess. But all right. Well, okay. Okay. Maybe we disagree with this. Okay. Because I was thinking Spinosaurus A tier, T-Rex S tier. Are you?
I do agree T-Rex S tier.
What's that?
I agree with T-Rex and S tier.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. T-Rex S tier. Okay. So now let me know in the comments
well,
if you guys are agreeing T-Rex S tier. It's got Rex in its name. It's the king, baby. I mean,
and while we wait for those to come in, I sent something in the private chat that I'd like you to play on the screen.
Okay. Let me.
It should be fine to play as long as you are zoomed out enough to show the channel name.
Let's stop screen, sent, share screen,
and make sure sound is playing. So this is what a T-Rex would have sounded like, folks. I hope you have good headphones.
Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Oh, terrifying.
Or
Yeah, and that just carries, right? That sound just carries for miles.
miles.
Yeah. And so I cannot imagine, camping out in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're just hearing this reverberating.
And
Oh,
you wouldn't hear it at first. You would feel it. Like
yeah.
the thing about T-Rex, most of what we know from its vocalization is basically scaled up crocodilomorphs. You would feel it long before you heard it. Like
So
it's in the realm of infrasound.
So really, okay. So you're all agreeing here that Spinosaurus is a full 2 tiers, and then some underneath of a T-Rex. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I put it 1 tier below it, but
They are not rivals.
okay.
Like
All
a
right.
T-Rex absolutely bodies a Spinosaurus.
Okay, so then let's talk about let's talk about the above and below right now. So right now we've got it in between Ankylosaurs and above Deinosuchus. So let's talk about T-Rex versus both of these.
Mm-hmm.
So bite force, and the mobility, T-Rex versus a Deinosuchus.
T-Rex has mobility. T-Rex has reach.
Yep.
Like another big thing which you wouldn't expect by looking at a T-Rex, it is obscenely efficient. Like this thing could walk at about 12 miles an hour for hours at a time without breaking a sweat. Like hyper efficient, hyper just insanely powerful, like obscene bite force. And just towering over the Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus couldn't reach it. But I don't think it could really harm an Ankylosaurus. It wasn't strong enough to do that.
Yeah, if we're talking about, healthy T-Rex, mature adult versus healthy mature adult Ankylosaurus, probably that Ankylosaurus is going to be earning that name of the shin breaker.
Zool.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on its placement here. So let's go ahead and let's do the last, or no, never mind, not the last mammal, but a mammal on the list here, a Paraceratherium, the largest land mammals of all time.
Oh boy.
So I mean, I'm putting it in.
Go ahead.
I'm putting it it's at least competitive with a mammoth, I would think, and above like a Stegosaurus.
I would put it above a mammoth.
I would also.
I'm not sure about above a Triceratops.
I think that this is a very good placement for it. But so you had the giant hadrosaur above the Triceratops, but you don't have the largest mammals above the Triceratops. And
yes,
wow, we've got people saying high B. We've got people saying C tier. We've got Bree saying justice for Calicotheres. I mean, come on, like this is close enough to a Calicotherium. Maybe you guys don't agree, but
okay. So Paraceratherium mass estimate is just shy of 13 tons.
Yeah. I mean, it's bigger
than Shantungosaurus is a Paraceratherium and a half.
What is?
The Shantungosaurus is 1.5 Paraceratheriums.
Okay, fair enough. Matthias is asking, was this a predator? No, it was not.
No.
But it's higher than C tier. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It,
be crushing a lot of these. And
yeah.
Bree actually said that
Hmm.
she would put it above trikes. I think it's definitely above a mammoth. I think we can all agree that
Yeah.
this is our ranking of a mammoth. I think Paraceratherium got to be higher than mammoths.
I mean, it really just comes down to like spears versus brute force.
Yeah. And Andrew Cumming just said, I just noticed that all the high A and S tier are reptiles.
Hey, dinosaurs are just built better.
Hey, wait. I'm just going to say, stay tuned, Andrew, because I have another S tier that is not a reptile. So,
I don't know. I think the Paraceratherium could beat a Triceratops, but I'm not sure it would survive long after the battle.
Well, I'm okay with this ranking for now, but I mean, what do you think? Like, explain to me how you think the Triceratops would beat a Paraceratherium. Like, is it just going to be goring at its legs?
I mean, yeah, ever taken an arrow to the knee?
All right, fair enough. I'm okay with this placement for now. I think in my original list, I did have a Paraceratherium above a Triceratops, but I also had the mammoth over the Triceratops, and you kind of won me over with that argument. So I guess I'll just carry that argument through.
And hey, you brought a dino nerd to a tier list that has dinosaurs.
True. What was I thinking? Okay, we've only got 4 left. I think I'm gonna save this one for last. Let's just go because I already teased it. All right. What was my non-reptilian S tier? I'm going Megalodon, guys. I'm going Megalodon in S tier.
I can't fight this. Although I might have a last minute honorary addition. I don't know if you can still add things.
I do not know how to add things, but
okay.
we can add it in spirit, I guess, just not on the actual list. But
okay, honorary side by side with Megalodon, Livia Titan.
Do you have any picture or anything? Livia
Or,
Titan?
sorry, Leviathan.
Do you have any picture or anything? Is it also a shark?
No, it is a monster sperm whale.
Interesting. Oh, right. Okay. So I didn't have like basilosaurs or anything along the whale evolutionary chain. Oh, here we go. Picture.
Yeah, there's a good size comparison.
Wow. All right. That's pretty dang close. And that's true.
Oh, yeah, and you don't have any mosasaurs.
People are calling out I didn't have a mosasaur. I probably should have added one. Maybe that would rank above Dunkleosteus, but or maybe just
still put it below a Megalodon.
Yeah, it's still definitely going to be below a Megalodon. Sorry for my lack of mosasaurs, guys. So yeah, I think S tier with Megalodon here. I'm thinking. I mean, it's the highest ranked aquatic for me. In terms of coolness factor, do you have it above or below a T-Rex?
Probably below a T-Rex. And that's just partly because T-Rex is really freaking cool. But it is close. Like, Megalodon is a really, really cool animal. Don't get me wrong.
And Bree is asking if we went with the 30-foot Dunkleosteus. No,
No, we went with the shrunk dunk.
Yeah, the shrunk dunk. I was advocating for high C tier, but Doc talked me into low B. So yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, for coolness, I've got T-Rex over Megalodon. I think this is a good placement for Meg being the bottom of S tier. Azo is talking some mad Meg hate in the chat. He's saying Megs didn't even rule the ocean. Crocs hunted Megs.
I'd have to see a citation for crocodilians hunting a Megalodon.
Yeah.
At
Citation.
least an adult. An adult, I should specify.
Andrew's saying if you put T-Rex in the water, it's done for. Yeah, but if you put
No.
Megalodon on land, it's done for.
Oh, the T-Rex would be done for. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Um, but I think we've just made Azo mad because we didn't include any mosasaurs. He's a big mosasaur
And
fan.
hey, we had Dinosuchus. Isn't that close enough?
No. Yeah. Okay. Let's do our last aquatic here. We've got the plesiosaurs.
Oh,
Um,
plesiosaur. Or
no,
oh, that's a pliosaur. Okay.
yeah, pliosaur. So Predator X was making the rounds, was making the headlines back in the day.
I'd say
So
top of A.
I also had this at the top of A. I'm thinking here's a good placement, or do you think it goes above the Deinosuchus in cool factor
It
for you?
in deep water above Dinosuchus. Far more mobile and about the same on terms of power, like just raw power.
Yeah, I mean it's an intimidating animal. I think that the Megalodon definitely takes it in a one-on-one battle with a pliosaur. Um, but yeah, I think okay. So here we go. We've got all of our aquatic species here. People are saying, you know, mosasaur definitely would kill Dunkleosteus. So I'm thinking I want to demote the dunk. People are calling out
Mm,
the size. I want to demote it back down to the top of C tier, and then we could have our imaginary honorary mosasaurs at the bottom of B tier.
okay, if you're doing that, I would still have mosasaurs in A. I feel like Dunk is good at bottom of B. Like I feel it's a good B tier aquatic. Even if it isn't the fastest, even if it isn't the biggest, those jaws don't lie. Like it had a bear trap for a face.
So you're saying mosasaurs belong in the same tier as the biggest pliosaurs?
Yes.
Hmm.
We have lots of mosasaur fossils. The only thing that killed them was each other.
Yeah. Hmm. All right.
And
All right. I'll lay off for now. I'll lay off for now. Yeah, keep Andrew's agreeing with you. Keep Dunk where it is, but A tier for mosasaurs. Okay.
agreed.
Mosasaurs can have an honorary A tier, guys. I'm sorry I forgot them on the list. Okay, let's do our final two here. Let's go with the Mega Raptors over here.
Ooh,
And so
okay.
for our type specimen for this, I'm thinking what's that macrothorax one? That huge
Might.
one that was just discovered? You know what I'm talking about?
Might.
Mipe. Yeah, it's I never remember that genus name here. Yeah. Okay. So let me just I don't know if you have a picture or I can share my
I'm finding one.
Okay, cool. Because I gotta say, my macrothorax has got to be one of my favorite. Has got to be one of my favorite dinosaurs.
Here
I
we
mean,
go.
it combines everything that I love about T Rex, but it gets rid of those tiny little baby hands, and you get these massive claws on these like actually respectably sized arms. I mean, wow, that's
Mhm.
pretty intimidating. That gets rid of everything that people make fun of T-Rex for. But its jaw, its bite force is obviously not going to
I
be as
mean,
devastating.
I would call it the love child of a dromaeosaur and an allosaurid.
Yeah, that's a good description for it. It's very I mean, I
Oh,
would not want to meet one of these in a dark alley.
and also, its genus name, Maip,
Yeah.
means the shadow of death.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Uh-huh.
That is cool. Okay. So where are we
Wait,
thinking
wait. Sorry, actually, the species name is Macrothorax, so translating basically to big or long chest.
Yeah.
So it's the busty wind or the busty death wind or
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah. All right. Intimidating. I mean, this is one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time, guys. So in coolness factor, I think that this is the top for me for coolness factor. This is the very
Do you ever play any dinosaur games?
I don't play that many games in general, so no, I haven't.
Okay, there's a game called Beast of Bermuda that
Okay.
lets you play as a Megaraptor,
Wow. All right. Sounds
and
cool.
it's actually a pretty good representation too.
Andrew was asking what was the croc species. We were just going with Deinosuchus, but Sarcosuchus, whatever you want. Just some of the largest crocs ever. So yeah, where are we thinking with Megaraptors? I've got them in A tier, but kind of low A.
Mm,
I mean, what? Okay, how do we feel about a Stegosaurus versus like the Mite Macrothorax matchup?
I mm,
Maybe I'm
okay.
biased because I think that they're so cool.
So here's the weird thing. I'm not sure if it could take on a Therizinosaurus, but
Wow.
I feel kind of confident that it could take on a mammoth just because of the mobility.
Yeah. I mean, look, why do you think that it couldn't take on a Therizinosaurus?
Because the Therizinosaurus also had really good mobility. Like the reason why the Therizinosaurus loses to a mammoth is because it wasn't fast enough to, like, say, evade a charge or something. The Maip would be able to do that and then get around the back of it.
Yeah, hop on the back, start tearing things
Mhm.
up.
But the Therizinosaurus would be able to turn fast enough to keep up with the Maip.
Hmm. The Therizinosaurus is considerably larger.
Yeah.
It's a
So
tough
it
one, but
kind of
okay,
weird.
the Therizinosaurus needs a little bit of range in order to properly use those claws. I mean, it's not really claws for slashing; it's kind of for stabbing. So if the Megaraptor can get close range, then I think it kind of can use its more maneuverable claws to do some real damage.
Yeah, that's what I feel too.
So, are we thinking of ranking it Megaraptors above a mammoth here?
Yeah,
That seems.
yeah. I'd say yeah.
I don't think that it's going to be taking down a Triceratops. Are
I
we
agree with that.
okay? And I think that the Paraceratherium is just a little too big for it to be. I mean, it's got more armor than a mammoth. Um, it's like a huge rhino. So I think this is a good
Mhm.
placement for Megaraptors. All right. Are we ready to move on to our final contender?
Sure.
Okay, we saved the greatest for last. Okay. Okay. We have in the last contender for fighting here, we have Australopithecus.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So we have the pack. We have the pack factor at play here. We have the fact that they became humans. I think we're all a little biased for loving humans. Bree is already coming right out the gate hot. She's saying below Dimetrodon.
Yeah.
I don't think that
I think below Arthropleura.
below Arthropleura. Okay. So here's what I'll say, right? I think that an Australopithecus might be able to get around a Dimetrodon, might be able to, maybe rip up its sail or something like that. But ultimately, I don't think it's really going to be able to do much to kill it. So I think the Dimetrodon could absolutely kill an Australopithecus. So I agree below Dimetrodon. Andrew Cumming is saying a low D tier. Well, the thing is that we had those cute little furry, little tiny guys in uh the low D tier. So I forget the name of them already, but I mean, obviously, and give me all the hate for this you want in chat. Australopithecus is going above the dodo bird 100%. It is hunting the dodo to extinction, just like its descendants did. So it's in D tier for me. Arthropleura versus Australopithecus. I don't know how either of them kill each other. So I think this is a fine placement.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew seems to agree that its place there is good. So, what do you think of our list, Doc?
I mean, I think it's pretty good so far.
We've got a lot of A tiers. And we've
Mhm.
got 4 S tiers. When I did this myself, I also had a lot of A tiers, and I had 3 S tiers. But you have convinced me Ankylosaur is S tier. Oh, wow. Bree is saying the ape would crush that arthropod. Dang.
I'm not sure with Australopithecus.
And again, we did not give tool use. I mean, we said that you can't strap
True.
we can't strap a bomb to the dodo bird. So we can't give Australopithecus a rock. Because those two things are equivalent.
Ooh, oh, I might have found.
So yeah, I'm thinking this is a good list. I think T-Rex and Megalodon being the 2 S tier carnivores makes sense. I think Titanosaurs and Ankylosaurs being the top 2 vegetarians it makes also sense. I think this is a good list. I'm a little bit shocked at Spinosaurs being mid B, but yeah, and I had more C tiers on my list, but that's maybe because maybe I'm a dunk hater. I don't know.
Well, finally, I found it. Jeez, freaking. Sorry, taken forever, but I finally found a really good artwork of that Mega Raptor from that game.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty scary. I would definitely, I think Mega Raptors are probably some of my favorite dinosaurs. Just an overall cool
Mm-hmm.
factor.
And then here's a better look at
Yeah,
it.
look at those claws. I mean, come on.
Uh-huh. It's fun to play too. It's really agile.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I am certainly happy with our list. We have I think what we've successfully ranked pretty much all of the noteworthy prehistoric creatures here.
Well, I wouldn't say all of them. We definitely missed a few, but we got a bunch.
We got a bunch. So let us know in the comments if you really disagree or if you really agree. I'd love to hear which ones that you think should have been included. What are your favorite dinosaurs?
Do the
And
whole like and subscribe thing to Grayson here.
do the whole like and subscribe thing. I always forget to remind people like it's the very end of the stream, so it's probably too little, too late. But try to like it if you can, and definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment. And go and check out Doc Dino's channel.
Wait a second. We might have a last minute upset.
Oh,
Bree apparently thinks Arthropleura was basically harmless.
yeah, about as dangerous as a horseshoe crab.
Do we have something on land? Do we have something to go below the Microraptor?
Below the Microraptor? I don't think it's going below Microraptor here. I don't think I'm moving Arthropleura to an F tier just because of its sheer size. But Bree is making a case. She's saying Australopithecus is pretty savage. I don't know what it's going to do. Is it just going to rip like a 10-foot long millipede? Is it just going to rip it? I mean, these things are armored. They have defenses. So I don't know. I mean, I agree that it's going to be hard pressed to kill anything without any, big weapons or offensive capabilities, but its sheer size. I mean, if we're talking about a motivated death match where both of them want to kill the other. I mean, you'd think it could. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be doing to make that kill, honestly.
Hmm.
But maybe I'll put it just because, we have to pay homage to our ancestors. We have to respect our ancestors. I'm going to put it above the Arthropleura just
Well, I
because
mean, you have to respect them. They're not my ancestors.
that's true. Doc is an actual dino, if you guys did not know.
Yes, quite. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So we moved him up. We had our last upset just to represent the species that at least 50% of us are representing. So I think that there's a begrudging fine from Andrew coming. I think that we've constructed a good list here, guys. Our death match, we have 4 victors coming out on top. So let us know your thoughts, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get both of us to 1,000 subs. And with that, I'm going to sign off for now. Hope you guys like the list. And I will provide a link to this list in the description.